Your Humanities Half Hour is brought to you by the Northern Marianas Humanities Council.
Hafidez and Tiro, welcome to Your Humanities Half Hour. I'm Catherine Perry, and today we're storytelling. Yes, I know our show is usually a compilation of people's stories on different topics, but today we're actually talking about storytelling itself, and specifically Indigenous storytelling. And here to share with us a little bit about how it has worked in traditional culture, what's its purpose, and hopefully give us a few stories himself is Carolinian cultural expert Lino Olopai. Tata Lino, Faisho.
Faisho, Kat, and to our listeners as well. Am I on? Is my mic on?
You are on.
I'm glad I'm on.
I'm glad you're on too. So, can you tell us a little bit about the role of storytelling in the Rufalawash culture?
Thank you, Kat. I hope our listeners are interested in that, considering the ever-changing world. It's a critical part of the Carolinian culture. We must be mindful that back then, we don't have television, radio, and all of that. Well, family will get together at night under, kind of candle lights or whatever. What I find so interesting, I take it for granted, growing up. And we have in our family, we have favorite storyteller that we went and grab her and spend the night with us and share the stories. But what I found out later in life is that the storytelling in our culture, it brings the family together, especially children. A very good storytelling, it will, hypnotize the children. You know what I mean? With our mouth open. Man, my auntie, two of my aunts are great at that. They're very good. When the story becomes excited, they'll purposely pause or cough. Can one of you kids get me water so I can continue? Man, we make a run for it to get some water. But the key element in this whole thing is that it brings the family together, especially the children. Aunts and uncles that are there during the storytelling, they do help out. If I'm telling the story and I forgot something about the story, they help in. They add what I forgot. So everybody have a role in the storytelling. That the biggest thing that I was trying to mention is that it brings the family together, especially the children.
When it came to storytelling time, was there a particular time of the day? Was there a particular structure or procedure that was supposed to be followed?
Not really, Kat. Not really. Speaking for myself, experience, we will look for our auntie, our special auntie in storytelling. If they didn't show up, let's say she spent the night with us, and the next evening she didn't show up, we'll go look for it. There's no particular procedure or thing. Just this usually after dinner at night time when everybody's getting ready to go to bed, under the lamp, not electric power or stuff. And because it's such, and if we don't see her in several days, us kids are restless. We'll go and look for it. Her name is Nana Key. Nana is mother Key. Her real name is Nicolasa, Nana Key for short. So we ask kids to go out before the night come and look for Nana Key. And we grab her by the hand. Nana Key, come on, we got to go home and tell us the rest of the story or new stories.
Were these stories of things that had happened to her recently, or are these old stories that were shared?
All stories and things that happened to her.
Okay.
Our heroes, so to speak, like our great healers, our great wise people with their strong idea to bring peace to the community. Great seafarers, great canoe builders, stories about people that communicate with the spiritual world. Those things. And for us kids, when it comes to those spiritual things, it catch us, kept us wide awake. And that's when she will pass and purposely ask for water or something, and we make a run for it. So yes, not just, I'll probably say all of the above, all of that, things that actually happen between families, why there was a dispute within the family. Those are the storytelling. And one important thing that I would like to share with the listeners, that most of our storytelling, there's a moral to it. At the end of the stories, they'll ask us, what do you learn about the story? What do you think about the stories? As kids, we'll come up with answers.
Oh, so they would ask
yes.
for audience participation
yes.
at the end. Oh,
yes,
okay.
It's the moral of the story that, come up with whatever you think is the right answer. But all the answers are always good answer versus no answer. So at the end of the story, that's what we do. And we always start out by saying the word lewela, like giving our respect to other storytellers. Lewela. Then the listeners will say yay, yay.
Yay.
Then the storytelling started. And then when the storyteller passed, and the story is excited, we will repeat the word yay, 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 come on, continue.
Yeah. Could you share with us one of your favorite stories from your childhood?
Well, so many of them that I forgot, so many of them. Yeah, we have exciting stories, scary storytelling. Like we mentioned earlier, we make up stories to make the story exciting for the kids. If the major of the listeners are children, then we do come up with other make-up stories. And
one of the stories you told me, which I haven't actually heard a lot of stories, but it's a really good one, I think, is how the sail was invented.
Well, that was a story from the Marshall that came from the Marshall Island.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a follower story.
It is a shared, thing.
Ah, okay.
But that was one of the many stories that our storyteller, feel it's a good thing to share. Because the moral of that is respect.
Could you tell us the story?
Well, I will repeat that. It's an old Marshallese legend where this old lady with her husband passed away, and she have, I think, 10 children. From the oldest to the youngest. And then she have this one small tiny island that belonged to her. And she was having problem making or deciding how she's going to share that little small island with 10 children that she have. And then she decided to have a race, from where they were to that particular island. And whoever get there first will own the island. And that was what she told her children. So on that particular day it came, on good weather, good wind, everything was so nice. So everybody prepared the canoe before the events. They polish up the canoe, build the best canoe. And then they started out. They start, and then the mother was, sitting on the beach, standing on the beach, watching the event. So the oldest one launched his canoe, and then the mother said, "Take me with you." And she had under her arm a weave bandanas, a mat, we call it sehi. Weave bandanas we use for sleeping mat and other purposes. We also use the mat for learning purpose when there's going to be a specific subject that certain students need to know. Then we open that particular mat for that particular purpose. The sleeping mat that you used to use, it become a sacred mat of learning. and you are no longer allowed to sleep in that mat until the whole schedule of learning is a month or so finished. Then you can have your mat back. But it was designated for mat of learning. Then it became a sacred mat for that reason. So the mat, so-called mat, for many people that do not understand its purpose, it serves more than just a sleeping mat. It also could be served as a classroom learning, to put it in that respect. And once the subject is done, you can fold your mat, sahi, and, use it again. So anyway, the oldest son launched his canoe, and the mom said, "Take me with you." He said, "Oh, Mom, you're going to slow down my boat." And that's true. It was a paddling, a race with just paddling because there was no sail.
No, the sail hadn't been discovered.
No, it hadn't been invented. It was just a paddle. So the older son launched off his canoe, start paddling. Then the next son is the same thing. The mom, "Take me with you." Everybody refused. So that continued all the way down to the youngest. Remember the moral of the story. The youngest, the last, who was the last person to launch his tiny canoe. And he was just about ready to paddle when Mom asked him to take with her. And the boy said, "Yeah, Mom, come. You can sit over here so you'll balance the canoe." And they start paddling out. And then the mom said, "Wait." So she opened up the mat. "Wait, let's use this for sail." And the young kid said, "What do you mean by that? What do you mean sail?" So mother said, "Put up your paddle. Put it up and put this over it and let the wind inside." So that was a simple sail. So the kids with paddle and the wind in the mat, that became a sail. He came and beat everybody all the way up, and he was the first one to reach the island. So he owned the island. So the moral of the story is, respect your parents. So that was a short legend on how the mat came, the sail mat. Today we're using dark-horn, modern material. But back then it's even harder on a weave mat sail, because in the old days, whenever a squall or rain, they have to stop and take down the mat. That's mean untie the mat from the mast and put it in a safe place away from the rain. So they have to wait for the rain.
Because the pandanus will spoil.
Right, the pandanus will suck up the rain and it'll make it heavier. And a light wind in that, when it's wet, it's going to tip the canoe over.
Oh.
Right, because it's heavy when it's wet. So they kept it in a dry place away from the rain. And when the rain is over, if it's one day rain, then one day you wait out in the ocean. If it's a week rain, then you wait out in the ocean for a week.
For it to dry?
For the rain to go away. And then you put the dry net back up.
Okay.
So you can consider all that, back in the old days in a voyage. Some of our legend, a sail between the Central Carolina, just about anywhere in the Central Carolina, it would take them months one way, from there to Saipan.
We're chatting with Lino Olopai today about storytelling, and we'll be back with more after this break.
Hafaday, Tiro, and greetings from the Northern Marianas Humanities Council. This is Board Chairman Isa Ariola. We are so pleased to be celebrating our 30th anniversary this year with you. Our mission remains to navigate and explore the human experiences of the Indigenous and diverse peoples of the Commonwealth by enriching their lives through research, dialogue, programs, and publications. If you have not yet participated in any of our council activities, make this your year. We look forward to welcoming you into our humanities family as we navigate the human experience together.
Welcome back to Your Humanities Half Hour. We're talking about storytelling today with Uncle Lino Olopai. Uncle Lino, how much was storytelling used to convey, or was it used to convey traditional knowledge, like something about sailing or planting or medicine or things like that.
It's all embedded in that. You have storytelling that talk about time for planting, rainy season, the stars, the animal in the ocean. They mention those in particular story. So as children, we learned a small detail, small little thing in the storytelling. And as we continue as a community on a small island, we encounter events that actually bring the rain in certain phase of the moon. So those storytelling, kicked in. Even though during the storytelling it may mean nothing at the time. But yes, those are part of the world learning. Religion, the story, education, you name it.
We have an oral tradition, and so the transmission of knowledge through this oral tradition, through the generations, is very important. And you were mentioning in the first half of the show how if the storyteller forgot an important point, somebody else who remembered it would chime in to make sure that the story was complete. How important was it for the story to be told completely back in the day, do you think? I mean, was it okay to miss out on a part, or would somebody always jump in? You forgot this part.
Yes, a boring story could become exciting story, depend on the storytelling, and it's the same with a good writer. He could write the same story in an exciting way. A writer.
So it might be the same story
right,
told a little bit differently.
Right. You add little ingredient to make it exciting, but the base of the story, it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
So same with the storyteller. They will add a little bit to make it exciting, scary. Now that you jog my memory, I'll be very happy to share with our listeners a make-up story. It's related to a similar story, but I will share this with children in elementary school, because it have a good moral to it, and I'll share with our listeners if they're willing to listen.
Sure. Now, is this a story you made up based on another story?
Right.
All right.
And I added.
This is a modern.
No. I added the ingredients to that original story to make it, exciting.
Okay.
Because when I go to a classroom, when I'm invited, I was asked the children what sort of story would they like to hear. Would you guys like to hear love story? Would you guys to hear a scary story, real story, make-up stories? And I'll give them all these options. And mostly the kids, tell us scary story, Mr. Olopai.
Okay.
So the base of this story is still there, and I added something to it, and I really hope our listener will enjoy it. Well, Leuela, as we say in Carolinian, then the listeners will say, yay. Long, long time ago, in the middle of the ocean, there is this group of people who are staying on this small island, and they are well off. What I mean well off is they have everything. They have all the food in the world they need, abundant of fish, breadfruit, taro, and it was so peaceful. Nothing, their life was just wonderful. Every day. Although there's no electricity, no running water, and all of that, to modern time, none of that. It was a very peaceful. They have all the resources of food, and they help each other, take care of each other, all of that. Life was so nice. The only problem on this particular island is at nighttime. As soon as the sun go down and it become dark, you have all these monsters that they roam all over the island. They're kind of round, black-looking thing with short legs, red eye, with sharp teeth, saliva coming out from those teeth through that. And whatever they find in a way, they'll gobble that. They see a pig, one time the pig's gone. They see a cow, they see children. Anyway, that was the only problem on the island. So before the sun go down, mom and dad, parents, they make sure the children come into the house for safety purpose. In this particular household, there's this one boy who misbehaving. He will purposely stay out longer than the rest. And the mom was so worried. Mom will come up with all kinds of things to bring all the children in. But this one boy will pretend he don't listen to his mom, purposely do this, stay out late and all of that. And poor mom, she don't know what to do. She will sing them a song. And that song, it's a song that you've heard a lot, Kat, today. I don't know if I can sing it with my rusty voice. Let me try. And that song goes something like this. Oh, boogie, 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 oh, wapala uje, neli hilumali lai, semei, reweto levo, raurik ilpei, kilpije, oh, boogie, boogie, boogie. The song simply means take me wherever you want to take me. When you kill me or whatever, you eat me like the monster. Please just save my fingernail and my toenail so that my mom and dad will come out and find at least those, my fingernail and my toenail. So the mom will repeat the song. Oh, boogie, boogie, boogie. Oh, boogie, boogie means take me away, take me, whatever. Oh, boogie, boogie, boogie. Oh, wapala uje. Meli vilumadi lei, semei. Reweto lewo, raurikulpei, kulpije. Oh, boogie, boogie, boogie. She will repeat this song, but that one boy will pretend he wasn't listening. He will stay out late. All the kids were in the house except him. Mom said the monster will be coming at any given time. And sure enough, the monster came and grabbed the kid. You know, that boy who was misbehaving, mischievous kid. They grabbed the boy. And the boy knew for certain he's going to die. Oh, I'm going to die. And the monster throw him in a kind of whiff basket. They throw the boy in, and they were going to gobble him right there and then. And then one of the monsters said, No, let's take him to our place on the other side of the mountain so we can really enjoy it, really eat him slowly, starting from the top of his head to the toe. And, so he was able to convince the other monster to do that. So they grabbed the boy, throw him in the basket, and they ran through the mountain, through the forest, through the swamp. And the boy was he's going to die. And he don't know what to do. And every now and then they'll put him down and they will rest. The monster will put the basket down with the boy in it and they will rest. And then they'll grab the basket again with the boy in it and make a run for it. Through river, through swamp, through all that. And then during all that time, the boy started thinking, what am I going to do? For sure they're going to kill me. And then he remembered the song that her mom was singing. Oh, boogie, 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 oh, wapala uje, neli hulumali lai, semei, reweto le sor, raurikilpei, kulpije, oh, boogie, boogie, boogie. So whenever they stopped to rest, the kids will sing the song. And then one of the monsters said, guys, let's take the boy back. And the other monster said, are you crazy? We're so close. We're going to, our place is just around that mountain. He said, no, let's take the boy back and get rid of him, eat him and save his fingernail and toenail so that his mom and dad will find it in the morning. And let's do that. So they argued back and finally was able to convince the other monster. So they ran back again. run back in toward the village, through the mountain, through the forest, through the swamp, taro patch, you name it. Because remember, these are the monster, kind of round-looking black block or whatever you call it, with a big reddish eye, with the sharp teeth, and saliva is coming down with the little short feet, legs or whatever you call that. They look so ugly. At night time, the only thing you see is the red eye and those wide, sharp teeth with saliva coming out. That's all you see at night time. The rest of the round-looking ugly body, you don't see that. You only see their big red eye and those wide, sharp teeth with saliva coming out. So they start running back to the village, running back with the boy in the basket. Finally, they reach the village, and they put the boy down right in front of the doorstep of his parents. And once they yank the, coconut basket you can yank it and, open it. So they yank it open, and the boy jump out and go, start making a lot of noise. You make a big commotion, wake up the whole village, and they start coming out, with a lamp, coming out, and that scared the monster away. They saw people coming in with a lot of lights, and the boy ran right to the parents' house, which is just right there. And all the people come out with a lantern or whatever. The monster, of course, got scared, and they ran away. They ran away, and the boy was safe. But the boy ran up to her mom. Remember the moral of the story. Ran up to her mom, and he grabbed her mom, and he cried and cried. Oh, Mom, you saved my life. You saved my life, Mom. And Mom, she didn't know what she did. She just grabbed her boy, glad and happy that he is home alive. And the boy was crying, Mom, you saved my life. Blah, blah, blah. The boy kept crying, and Mom kept trying to calm him down. Then the boy finally said, you remember the song? The song you've been singing for us all the time? That's the song. That's the song that saved me. Because every time the monster put me down to rest, I sing them that song to them. And they finally bring me back. But they were going to call me on the other side. They're going to kill me on the other side of the mountain. So, Mom, you saved my life, Mom. I'm sorry for all the things I've been doing. Oh. So, that was the end of the story. And then at the end of the story, I asked the kids.
Yeah.
I said, this story, there's 2 moral stories to it. So I asked the kids, okay, what was the moral of the story? Any wild guess, any guess? Of course, kids will come up with all wonderful things that they think is the right thing, but I always correct them. I say, the 2 moral of the story is that parents' responsibility is they should continue to teach their children the best they can. There may be children like that, like the boy in the storytelling, that pretend he wasn't listening. But our responsibility as parents, we shouldn't neglect that. Just continue. There may be 1 or 2 among our children that may behave like that, but those are probably the normal part of the growing up for the kids. So that's one of the moral of the story. Parents, don't neglect your responsibility to educate the kids. The second part of the moral of the story is that children, please listen to your mom and dad. They were born long before you guys were born, and they went through the same thing you're going through. So listen to your mom, regardless of how ridiculous things that she tells you. But they were here before you were born. So give them the respect they deserve. So that was the second moral of the story. I hope that helped, the question.
I love that. I mean, I think most people would have guessed the second moral of the story you mentioned, but the first one, the responsibility of the parent to continue teaching, that's also very good.
It is, because it's common. I've seen that a lot, where we give up on kids that don't behave.
Oh, they're just bad.
Yeah,
Sometimes
bad and
parents
bad.
say that.
They're
They're just naughty. And
Yeah. So
that's
the
really
moral of
good.
the story is, we need to be on top of our part.
Uncle Lino, our time always seems to get away from us, and I do want to thank you for sharing with us today. Anything you'd like to add before we go?
Well, first of all, I thank you for continue to invite me over here and share whatever we can share with our community. With all things that are happening on the island, I think we need to not lose our vision as Indigenous people of this island, and the spirit of helping one another, regardless of whatever our status is. Whether you're a millionaire, billionaire, or poor, keep that spirit of sharing. Look out for one another. Oh, Kat, so many things. The world is moving so fast.
And take time to tell stories.
Hey, that sounds great.
Our guest today has been Carolinian cultural expert Lino Olopai, and we've been chatting today about storytelling. Thank you, Tata Lino.
Very welcome. Thank you, Ken.
This has been Your Humanities Half Hour. I'm Catherine Perry.
This program was supported by a We the People grant awarded to the Northern Marianas Humanities Council from the National Endowment for the Humanities. Any views, findings, conclusions, or recommendations expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily represent those of the National Endowment for the Humanities or the Northern Marianas Humanities Council.